Have you ever experienced a sense of unease when looking up at the night sky in your childhood? Have you ever felt unsettled by the infinite depth of the universe? Contrary to the beauty of twinkling stars, space may actually be a terrible place. The universe is not necessarily a place where the residents of Earth can live in quiet isolation. Astronomers have estimated the number of alien civilizations in the vast space, multiplying variables such as the number of stars suitable for the development of intelligent life, the number of habitable planets per suitable star, the fraction of suitable planets on which life actually appears, and so on. Theoretically, the calculation suggests that there should be an enormous number of extraterrestrial intelligences and their advanced civilizations. We should have been visited by intelligent aliens or detected radio signals from their civilizations by now. But physicist Enrico Fermi pointed out that we have no solid evidence of alien visits or interstellar radio signals. The universe is eerily silent. This contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial civilizations and the lack of evidence of their existence is known as the Fermi paradox. Why are we alone in the universe? To solve this puzzle, you need to imagine yourself in a dark forest, holding a crossbow and staying silent as you conceal your presence. Imagine you are in a dark forest, bearing a crossbow and hiding yourself in silence. The forest might harbor other hunters like you. As you stalk through the trees like a ghost, treading silently, you see a torch light up a short distance away. Here, you have three choices. The first choice is to attempt to communicate with the one who lit the light. However, this option is dangerous because you are not sure if he or she is ready for a peaceful dialogue. With someone who already has their finger on the trigger, conversation is of no use. Therefore, you need to know whether they are friends or foes in advance, but it is impossible. Also, you are not sure about the potential benefits of building a friendly relationship. Moreover, the attempt to communicate lets them know your presence in your location. It poses a huge risk for your survival, which is the highest priority. The second choice is to take no actions and remain silent. You may stay safe for a while, but sooner or later, they are likely to notice you are there. If they become aware of your presence, you will face the same dilemma as before. You will come to realize that there is only one viable option here: to open fire and eliminate the torchbearer before they notice you. In this forest, this is the best option to survive. To be clear, this is not a suggestion that you should absolutely pull the trigger. Rather, it points to the existence of a structure where it becomes a rational option. At the same time, you know that this is the best choice for other hunters as well. They will also fire their crossbows as soon as they detect another individual. Because this structure exists, the possibility always remains that other players will act on that exact same logic. Since you can never truly know their intentions, pulling the trigger inevitably becomes the only rational choice left for you as well. It indicates that another principle you should follow is to remain silent and never reveal your presence or location. Needless to say, you should never call out, "I am here." An extraterrestrial civilization is essentially a threat for two main reasons. The first reason can be explained by applying the model known as the prisoner's dilemma. Let us assume that we learn that there is an advanced civilization in Alpha Centauri, the star system closest to the Sun. We cannot know whether they will be friendly or hostile prior to our attempt to communicate. To begin with, it is uncertain whether they have the same sensory systems or means of communication similar to ours. The benefit of mutual friendship is unclear, but if they are hostile, the results will be interstellar war, and the loss is immeasurable. The second reason is the nature of science and technology to develop exponentially. On our planet, for example, human history spans millions of years. However, it was only about 5,000 years ago when we started to live in cities. The spread of electricity occurred 1.5 centuries ago, and the development and implementation of modern information technologies happened only during the last few decades. As of the 2020s, we are witnessing technological disruptions in generative AI almost every year. Since a new invention serves as a catalyst for the next, every new development shortens the time until the next one. Science and technology develop rapidly within a short period of time. Alpha Centauri is about 4.3 light-years away from the Earth. Even with the technology that enables interstellar travel at 1/10 of the speed of light, a round trip for a diplomatic mission would take about a century. A century is a blink of an eye on a cosmic timescale, yet it is long enough for technological superiority to be overturned. In short, any entity whose intentions are unclear and that has the potential to outmatch our civilization poses a significant threat to our survival. Therefore, we should never initiate such a relationship in the first place. This is not a moral recommendation, but a chilling logical conclusion derived from the structural constraints of the universe. Why are we alone in the universe? It is not because we are actually alone, but because all civilizations are hiding themselves from each other. This is one of the most plausible answers to the Fermi paradox. In the dark forest of the universe, the intentions of other planetary civilizations are unclear, communication is difficult to expect, and technological superiority can easily be overturned. Therefore, if we detect another civilization unilaterally, the best solution for our survival is to eliminate them immediately before we lose the advantage of information asymmetry. At the same time, we should assume that other civilizations will also reach the same conclusion, so we have to conceal our presence. In fact, active SETI, attempts to actively search for extraterrestrial intelligence, has been regarded as extremely dangerous by many scholars, including the theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking and the anthropologist Jared Diamond. Hawking said that it may bring about a fate similar to the tragedy of indigenous peoples after Columbus reached the American continent. From the 16th century onward, explorers from the Old World, equipped with superior technology and military power, advanced into the New World where they slaughtered or enslaved the local populations, seized their land and property, and destroyed their culture and forced religious conversion. For example, Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés defeated the Aztec Empire in the early 16th century. He massacred the local people, exploited slaves and gold, and eliminated their tradition and religion while showing no respect or understanding to them. In human history, first contact was usually a disaster for the side with inferior technology. This has even been the case among the members of the same species with the same perceptual capacities, so it is too optimistic to expect a peaceful first contact with extraterrestrials. In 2016, a project called the Breakthrough Initiatives was launched, in which Stephen Hawking and other scientists participated. The project is aimed at detecting extraterrestrial intelligence, but it strictly refrains from sending signals from Earth and limits itself to the passive observation of signals from outer space. For 10 years, they have been listening for possible messages from space, but as of 2026, thank goodness, all they have heard is nothing but silence. The internet space in the 2020s is like a dark forest. In the universe, exposing our presence is a way to extinction, so we have to stay silent and hide ourselves. Similarly, speaking out and attracting attention in online public discourse entails the risk of becoming a target of slander and backlash. Also, healthy communication is unlikely on the internet. Once a message is misinterpreted, goes viral, and triggers public backlash, it is almost impossible to correct the misunderstanding and steer it toward the true intention. Furthermore, we witness cases where people beat up those they dislike, driven by a sense of justice, leading to invasions of privacy and the spread of false information. Therefore, the rational behavior on the internet is to never speak out and show up. Only those prepared to be insulted and slandered by anonymous strangers can express their views in today's online discourse. As a result, the entire online population suffers a loss. Those in positions of responsibility or those with something to protect are more likely to refrain from speaking their true thoughts online, which leads to the most valuable information disappearing from the internet. For example, a specialist in energy issues is reluctant to share his or her honest views on nuclear energy on social media platforms, since it is easy to foresee hostile reactions from extreme users. This is a huge loss for society because information and insights that only experts can possess are prevented from being shared among the general public. The internet and social media were once expected to be a utopia that would democratize information and give everyone a voice. But in reality, they are becoming a dark forest where you are shocked the moment you light your torch. How many would be willing to share valuable information and opinions at the risk of endangering their own dignity and social life? Humanity has spent centuries discovering the concept of human rights and the rule of law, enabling ourselves to escape what Hobbes described as the war of all against all. Do we have to repeat the same process all over again to bring peace and morals on the internet?